Hello and welcome back. This is Saxon Math Lesson 63, Subtracting Mixed Numbers with Regrouping. It's Part 2. Since Lesson 48, we have practiced subtracting mixed numbers with regrouping. In this lesson, we'll rename the fractions with common denominators before subtracting. In order to subtract 1 1/2 from 3 2/3, we must rewrite the fractions with common denominators. Then we subtract the whole numbers and the fractions. If possible, we simplify. So 3 2/3, if you were to multiply it by 2 over 2, you could see that it would be the same as 3 4/6. 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 2 is 6. Why did we do that? Because 1 1/2 can be multiplied by 3/3 in order to get a denominator of 6. So 1 times 3 is 3 for the numerator, and 2 times 3 is 6 for the denominator. And we bring the whole numbers over as well. So you have 3 2/3 is an equivalent mixed number of 3 4/6. 1 1/2 has an equivalent mixed number of 1 3/6. Now we can subtract these mixed numbers because they have equivalent denominators, which is 3 minus 1 equals 2, and 4 minus 3 equals 1 is the numerator, and the denominator stays 6. When subtracting, it is sometimes necessary to regroup. We rewrite the fractions with common denominators before regrouping. In this case, we didn't have to regroup. We had 3 2/3, and we didn't have to do any regrouping. The 4 minus the 3 works, but sometimes you do need to regroup. So let's subtract 5 1/2 and 1 2/3. So if you have two different denominators, it looks like I can get this one to be times 3 to get it to be a denominator equivalent mixed number with a denominator of 6. 5 and 6. I have to multiply this times 3, so that'd be 3/6. This one would be an equivalent with a denominator of 6 also. I'd have to multiply this times 2, the numerator times 2. So this would become 4/6. Now, if I was to subtract these, notice that I have to do some regrouping here because this 3 and this 4, I can't take 4 from the 3, so I have to borrow. I'm going to change this to 6. In this case, I've got the denominator of 6, so I'm going to take 4. I'm going to have 1 taken away, will be 6/6, because that's an equivalent to 5. 4 and 6/6 is like 4 plus 1. 4 6/6 is the same as 5. Now I have 4 6/6 plus this 3/6. So I actually want to rename this. This would have to be called 4 9/6, because this 6 plus this 3 makes 9. The denominator just stays the same. Now I can subtract the 1 4/6 because I have 9 minus 4 here, which equals 5. The denominator remains 6, and 4 minus 1 here, which is 3. So my answer would be 3 5/6. We rewrite the fractions with common denominators. Before you can subtract, you must regroup this. After we subtract, we simplify if possible. So, can you use addition to check the answer? Yes, you can. You could take 3 5/6 plus 1 4/6 to get 4 9/6, and then you'd have to convert it back over to that. You wouldn't be able to take 3 5/6 plus this unless you converted that into 1 4/6. So you have to make sure you have the like denominators. The denominators just have to be the same. All right, let's try some of these. So Letter A, 5 1/2 minus 3 1/3. I'm going to give you guys a freebie because there weren't very many practice problems in this. Because of that, let me do letter A for you. If you get letter A wrong, then you need to rethink and re-listen. So if I have 5 1/2 and I'm going to subtract 3 1/3, I see that both 2 and 3 probably going to be converted into 6. So I'm going to change this to 5 and something with a denominator of 6. This will be 3 with a denominator of 6. And then I see that 3 times 2 is 6, so 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 3 here, so this would be 3 6. And it looks like I don't have to regroup here because 3 minus 2 works. So 3 minus 2 is 1. The denominator is 6. 5 minus 3 is 2. That's it. Everybody should have letter A correct. I just gave you the answer. It's 2 1/6. That'll just give you one more example to look at. Go ahead and do letter B, 4 1/4 minus 2 1/3. All right, so if I've got 4 1/4 and 2 1/3, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to rewrite it vertically like this. I'm going to put equal signs there because it looks like I have different denominators. And the least common multiple between 4 and 3 looks like 12. So I'm going to have 4 with as the mixed number with a denominator of 12. This will be 2 again, just like it is here, with the denominator of 12 as the mixed number in this case. And then I have to multiply that times 4 to get to 12. This one would be times 4 to get to 4. Oops, let me go back. My 4s on this digital pen I always mess up. 4 times 3 here to get to 12, and 1 times 3 to get to 3. And then I subtract that. It looks like I'm going to have to regroup. In this case, I have to regroup this because I need this to be 3 12 twelfths plus that 3 twelfths. So that's the same as 3 15 twelfths. And this would be 2 4 twelfths. And if I subtract that, I'd end up with 15 minus 4, which is 11 twelfths. And then I'd end up with 3 minus 1, or 2, which is 1 in that case. All right, so that'd be letter B. Letter C, 6 1/2. 6 1/2 minus 1 3/4. So in this case, you'd end up with, I have to change this one. It looks like I'm going to leave 1 3/4 as the mixed number here. This one could be 6 and something with the denominator 4. So I have times 2 to get to that. So this would be 2/4. 2/4 there. So if I subtract that, I have to borrow there, it looks like. So I'm going to have to regroup this one. This would be changed to 5 4/4. So 5 4/4 plus 2/4 makes 5 6/4. And then I'm going to subtract 1 3/4. So this would end up being 6 minus 3, which is 3. And 4 is a denominator. 5 minus 1 makes 4. So you'd end up with 4 3/4. All right. Letter D. Let me just put letter D right here for now. 7 2/3 minus 3 5/6. So in this case, I can keep the 3 5/6. 7 2/3 can be converted into 7 with the denominator of 6 as well by multiplying this times 2 And this times 2, we'd end up with 4/6. Now, again, you'd have to borrow or regroup in this case because 4 minus 5 does not work, so I'm going to change this to 6 and 6/6. And 6 plus 4 ends up being 6 and 10/6 minus the 3 and 5/6. So now you have 10 minus 5, which equals 5. The denominator is 6. 3 minus taken away from 6 makes 3. So you'd have 3 and 5/6 for letter D. Letter E. 6 and 1/6 minus 1 and 1/2. So again, this problem right here, you can see that 6 and 1/6 is going to stay the same, and 1, and it's going to have a denominator of 6 down here, so this is 3. This one's times 3, so you're going to subtract that. You'd end up with having to borrow again, or in this case, I'm going to regroup this. This would be 5 and 6/6 plus that 1/6 makes 5 and 7/6 minus 1 and 3/6. So I have to regroup that. And now I can take 7 minus 3, which is 4. And this would be 6. And this would be 4. Now I have to recognize this could be reduced. So this would be 4 wholes. And this is divided by 2 makes this 2. Divided by 2 makes this 3. So 4 and 2/3. All right, letter F. If you have 4 and 1/3 minus 1 and 1/2, you can now change both of those into denominators of 6. This one would be 4 with a denominator of 6. This would be times 3. This one would be times 2. So you subtract that. You can see that we'd have to regroup that. So if I have this, I'd take 4 would be changed to 3 and 6/6, and 3 and 6/6 plus 2/6 equals 3 and 8/6, and this would be 1 and 3/6. If I was to subtract that, now I can do it. 8 minus 3 equals 5. The denominator stays 6, and 3 minus 1 equals 2. Letter G. So for letter G, you have 4 and 5/6. 4 and 5/6 minus 1 and 1/3. So in this case, you can see that the 4 and 5/6 will just stay the same, and the 1 and 1/3 will be changed to a denominator of 6. If I was to multiply that times 2, this one would be times 2, so I'd end up with 2/6 here. Subtract that. It looks like I don't have to do any regrouping on this one. I have 5 minus 2, which equals 3, and the denominator is 6, and then 4 minus 1 equaling 3. This can be reduced though, 3 and 1/2, because 3/6 is the same as 1/2. So my final answer, 3 and 1/2. All right, I'm going to clear the board for letter H. We have 6 and 1/2 minus 3 and 5/6. So if I was going to complete this, I could see that 3 and 5/6 is going to stay the same. This one would be 6 and 3/6, because 6 times, or 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 3 is, or 3 times 1 is 3. And if I subtract that, it won't work. So I have to regroup or borrow. This needs to be the same as 5. It would be 5 and 6, 6 plus the 3, 6. So you'd end up with 5 and 3, 6. So it'd be 5 and, so that'd be 9, 6 there, because 3 plus 6 makes 9. And then you have 3 and 5, 6 here. Subtract that, you end up with 9 minus 5 equaling 4. The denominator stays the same as 6, and you have 2. So this would be the same as, if you were to reduce that, that would be the same as divided by 2. This would be divided by 2. So you'd end up with 2 and 2/3 for the final answer for letter H. All right, and letter I, 8 and 2/3 minus 5 and 3/4. So in this case, I see that 5 and 3/4, that's going to be changed into a denominator of 12. This will be 8 with the denominator of 12 as well. That 3 can be multiplied times 4 to get to 12. So 4 times 2 is 8. 4 can be multiplied by 3 to get to 12. So that means 3 times 3 makes 9. If I was going to subtract that, I have to recognize that I have to regroup this. So I now have 7 and 12/12. 12 plus 8 makes 20/12. So that'd be 20/12, and that whole number was 7 minus 5 and 9/12. So now I have 20 minus 9, which equals 11, and that would be 12, stays the same, and this would be 2. 2 and 11/12. All right. And then in letter J, it says write a word problem that involves subtracting mixed numbers. So you just create your own word problem that involves subtracting mixed numbers, usually referencing pie or pizza. Those are pretty handy ones to make up. All right, nice job today, guys. Don't forget to do lesson 63, questions 1 through 30 in the written practice. You must do all 30 questions. It's very, very important. Saxon math only works when you complete all questions so that you can get the practice required to learn each of the lessons from previous days and weeks. Good job, and we'll see you next time.